Hey everyone, Hailey here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing the do's and don'ts for using LinkedIn. This video is geared towards someone who already has a profile created. If you're at the beginner stage and you don't even have a profile, please check out this other video I did first and then come on back. But I do want to keep the video as short and sweet as possible. So with that, number one is check LinkedIn regularly. And that is open to interpretation, but if you're really serious about being in the job market, I would recommend at least once a week. It's important because you want to keep engaged with the people in your network. You also want to stay on top of any potential opportunities and just kind of get the general buzz of what's going on in your industry or among the people that you follow. You spent all this time created a profile, don't just forget about it. The second point that I'd like to make is engage with the people in your network. Like I said, you created the profile, you made the connections. Don't let them forget about you. So you don't have to go over the top. You don't have to comment on every single person's post. But if you see something that catches your eye, say something, like a post every now and then. I always think about quality over quantity, and I think that definitely applies to LinkedIn. When it comes to posting, say something that's meaningful, be intentional with the posts that you make or with the interactions that you have with the people in your network. If you keep that in mind as you're going about sort of engaging the people within your network, you'll do very well, I think. Another point that I'd like to make about connections is connecting with people that you don't know. Now, I personally would discourage you from randomly connecting with complete strangers. Why? Well, you guys are complete strangers. This happens to me all the time. People that I have no idea who they are request to be in my network. And you have to realize that this is a professional network where people do have a lot of personal information, such as, their educational information, where they went to school, where they work currently, what position they're in on that website. So they're not just going to want to accept people all willy-nilly. But if you do feel compelled to connect with someone you don't know, I would definitely send them a message along with the connection request, because otherwise they're gonna get the request and they're gonna be like, well, I don't know who the hell this is, so it's a no for me. But if you message them along with the connection and you say, hey, introduce yourself, my name is so-and-so, I'd really like to get to know you for XYZ purpose, and I think I can benefit you in this area as well, they're a lot more likely to accept the request and maybe even start a conversation. And it also just shows that you've taken some initiative and you're not just some random stranger. So I think that will just take you a lot farther than just sending a completely out of the blue connection request to them. Another point, do interact with the people in your network. I think this goes along with what I said earlier, but it's always nice to send people a message if you see a post and you were thinking of them, or even if they just pop up and you haven't spoken with them in a while. It's always good to just kind of keep people in the loop with what you're doing, and I'm sure maybe they'll be able to share something that's beneficial to you as well. Moving along, so when it comes to posting, what's inappropriate, what's not, I think we can all agree that profanity, nudity, anything that might be considered inflammatory is just an automatic no, and you shouldn't go there. But there's a lot of other stuff that you have to be aware of too, because I use LinkedIn, I have a lot of connections from all walks of life. I have people who are in a similar age group as me, I have people who are the same age group as my parents, and I see a huge difference between the kinds of posts and the quality of posts that are out there. I think people who are taking it seriously and who are actually on LinkedIn to network and not just to boast or just because they feel like they need to have one, there is an obvious difference. Those people do have very thoughtful and intentional posts. They share things that are relevant to the industry that they work in or the industry that they want to work in. On the other hand, the mistake that I see a lot of people in my age group, people who are in college or just graduated college, the mistake that I see those people making a lot is posting things that are just completely irrelevant to what they're doing. For example, I saw someone who majored in accounting the other day post about calligraphy. Okay, very cool. The video was cool, but it doesn't exactly correlate to accounting, and it doesn't really do anything to market him in that way. And that's the whole purpose of LinkedIn. You can save the fun, cute stuff for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's what those social media websites are for. That's not what LinkedIn is for. Above all, always remember that your future employers will see this. They will most likely seek out your LinkedIn profile if you didn't already apply through LinkedIn or link them directly to LinkedIn in your job application. They will probably come across this. So if you wouldn't want them to see that, or if you don't think the post would actually sway them one way or another positively to hire you or to pursue you further in the interview process, just don't do it. The next tip that I have is a really big one, and I think it's underrated, it's underutilized, and it's something that everybody should be doing, and that is endorsing your coworkers. What is an endorsement? So on your LinkedIn profile, if you scroll down considerably, there's a section called Endorsements, and you'll see that people in someone's network have said, yes, so-and-so is actually skilled in this area. For example, my friend Sarah right here, you can see, has endorsed me for multitasking. And we've worked together in situations where she's seen me multitask, so she's given me a little thumbs up just to show that, yeah, there's some validity to that claim that I do have the skill of multitasking. And then in turn, I do the same thing for her. So I go on her profile and I endorse her for something. So it's a two-way street. I think it's good because if you go on someone's profile, whether you're super close with them or not, as long as you've worked with them and it's totally true and you're not just like BSing, and you endorse them for something, I think they're pretty likely to endorse you back, and it just builds a good sort of like relationship between the two of you. Also shows potential employers and anyone who might be viewing your profile that you're not like totally fabricating your entire employment and job history. You actually do have the skills that you say you possess. Profiles. Speaking of profiles, complete your profile as much as you can. At this point, you probably already have a profile. If you don't, go ahead, watch that video that I suggested in the beginning of this one. Really, guys, it's so important that you have as much completed as possible. That way, it's the best representation of you as a potential employee. Last point is don't ignore recruiters in your inbox. Even if you think I would never take this job or I don't know this person, like most likely people come to you, they message you, they say, hey, I like your background. I think this might be a good job for you. Would you be interested? And I think it's important always to, at the very least, say thank you for considering me. Even if you're going to follow that up with, I'm not interested, just because it shows that you do care enough to give them the courtesy. They reached out to you. Now you're responding to that. And by the way, there are read receipts on LinkedIn unless you purposefully turn them off. So they'll know if you read your message, if you read their message. And I just think it's decent. Also, you never know, you could read that message and say, hey, you know what? I don't think this is for me, but I think my friend would be really great in this position. Or if you have a positive interaction with them, later on something might come up that they think you would be a good fit for, and then they message you again. And who knows, that could end up being your next job. All right, those are all of the do's and don'ts I have for LinkedIn. I want to end off by giving you guys 3 words to keep in mind as you're going on LinkedIn, networking, interacting with people, etc. And the words are engagement, intentionality, and professionalism. I think if you keep these 3 words in mind as you're on LinkedIn, you're going to be golden. Engagement, because always remember to engage with the people in your network. Don't just make a profile and then be this silent viewer. Intentionality, because when you post things, it should be meaningful. It shouldn't just be like whatever is on your mind. You shouldn't be like, I had a hamburger for lunch or whatever. And professionalism, because like I said, employers will find this. So just keep in mind, just put your best foot forward, basically. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed or benefited from this content, please give the video a thumbs up. I would also appreciate if you'd subscribe to my channel. If you like more videos like this, please let me know. I'm trying to think of more LinkedIn and job-related post videos that I can post and upload for you guys. Let me know if you have any suggestions. Thank you. Bye.